Hi everybody, this is Cole. Today we're going to be talking about common mistakes that I've seen my students make in the American school system, specifically surrounding GPA. Now, keep in mind from previous videos that GPA stands for Grade Point Average. It's essentially a college's way of assessing the academic strength of an individual student. And you calculate it by taking all of a student's grades divided by the amount of classes that they've taken with a scale of 4.0. Essentially, a 4.0 is an A, a 3.0 is a B, and so on. But the first mistake I see students making is fixing themselves on that framework. That's called an unweighted GPA. But a weighted GPA maxes out scores at a 5.0. This will happen if you're taking honors courses, IB courses, or AP courses. In those classes, the student can achieve a much higher grade because an A is worth more points. One of the issues I see constantly is that students will want to avoid taking advanced classes because they think of them as harder or more challenging. In other words, they don't want their GPA to suffer if they get a B, let's say, in an advanced class. The issue is that colleges oftentimes are more impressed when they see students taking weighted GPA classes. In other words, to a college, getting a B in an advanced class shows initiative and poise, while getting a B in an unadvanced class doesn't necessarily prove anything to the college. The lesson is this: by taking on harder and harder classes, although it might seem like when your grades suffer, your GPA will suffer as well, because these are weighted classes, your GPA may actually be improved by getting Bs in AP classes or IB classes or honors courses as opposed to a B in a normal unweighted class. In summary, a weighted course versus an unweighted course can dramatically shift your GPA score. The second mistake that I see a lot of students make is thinking that their GPA is based on their larger grades only, such as their finals, their midterms, or their research assignments. In US high schools, though, your GPA is built up daily. Your homework, your quizzes, all of your small assignments, your projects, class participation, attendance, all of those are factored into GPA. Some students will ignore these smaller assignments, thinking that they're ultimately irrelevant, when in reality, all of those assignments are also factored into GPA. So the math is quite dangerous. Even skipping just a few smaller assignments earlier on can affect your overall grade, and therefore your GPA will suffer even if you ace the final. Every single point matters in the American school system. Finally, one of the mistakes I see students make very often is simply waiting too long to ask for help. And I get it, I'm a teacher. No one wants to admit to their teacher when they're struggling. But if you wait until a week or 2 weeks or even 3 or 4 weeks before the report card is released to ask for extra help or extra credit, it's usually too late to have a substantial impact on your scores. In the US system, teachers generally appreciate it when you take initiative early. Visiting office hours, joining study groups, or asking for extra help or tutoring goes a long way, not only in improving your scores, but in helping to form a relationship with your teachers. Keep in mind that one low grade, especially on a larger assignment, can pull down your GPA significantly. This is why we always say it is much easier to prevent a bad grade than to recover from one. In summary, remember, first, there's weighted and there's unweighted GPA. Don't shy away from the challenge of weighted classes. Second, make sure to treat every assignment like it matters, because it does. And third, before you fall behind, begin asking for help. Keep in mind, your GPA is a marathon, not a sprint. Stay aware of what grades you're getting, stay consistent in your studying, and generally speaking, these traps will be very easy to avoid. Stay tuned for more insights into the world of education. Good luck and study hard.